Last week, Democrats John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock won both the Georgia Senate runoffs and have created a 50-50 split in the Senate, Sean, which will put Kamala Harris as a tie-breaking vote and give Democrats the majority. The last time that this happened was in 2001, when Republicans and Democrats were evenly split for just a few months, though, until May of that year, when Vermont Senator Jim Jeffords left the GOP to become an independent and joined the Democratic caucus. Well, our next guests served in the Senate during that time, and they know a thing or two about what it looks like to serve a split Senate. Joining us now is former Republican Senator and Majority Leader Trent Lott from Mississippi and former Democratic Senator from Louisiana, John Breaux. Senators, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be with you again.
Gentlemen, good to have you both back. Senator Lott, let me start with you. Walk us through what the situation was last time it was 50-50, and how does it compare to now?
Well, it certainly compares in that they have a 50-50 split, and they have a lot of things they need to try to find a way to work together to get it done for the country. The big advantage that I had at that time was Tom Daschle was the Democratic leader. We were friends. I trusted him. I respected him. But I was, in effect, the majority leader because we had the vote of Vice President Dick Cheney. Now the difference is Chuck Schumer will be the majority leader because he has the vote of Kamala Harris. So the challenge was working through what was fair. Some of my Republican colleagues said, hey, we're still the majority. You run the show. Don't try to make a deal. But I felt like, the last time they had an even split, it took them 5 months to work it out. So I really focused on trying to be fair about it. We split on the committees. It was 50-50, equal number of Republicans and Democrats. We split the payroll. We said everybody's entitled to office space. If we had a tie vote in the committee, either Tom Daschle or I could take it to the floor. So we worked through a lot of details. But also, there were some Democrats like my friend John Breaux who said, hey, 50-50 is great. If I can get one Republican to vote with me, I'm the majority leader. And he pulled that on me a couple of times. But you know what? We got some stuff done. We passed a tax bill, not as big as I wanted it to be. Breaux and Olympia Snowe wanted a little less. We passed appropriations bills. We passed a defense bill. We passed No Child Left Behind. We got a lot done in 5 months. What say you, John Breaux?
Well, it worked back then, and I think principally because of the relationship between Tom Daschle and my colleague, Trent Lott. The techniques on what to do and how to do it are not complicated. It's got to be a personal willingness between the leaders to sit down and agree to the things that make the Senate function as we hope that it would function. Chuck Schumer does not have to do an agreement with Mitch McConnell. He can say, I am the majority leader. I will control the majority. I will control office space and committee chairmen and how the legislation is handled. I think it's better, quite frankly, for Vice President and President-elect Joe Biden to have an agreement between the two leaders so that they can work together cooperatively to work on his agenda and to get some things done. So I think it's in the interest of the country that we're able to do this time what my colleague Trent Lott and Tom Daschle did back then.
You know, Senator Lott, I think one of the biggest concerns right now is the emotions are so high. We're seeing what's happening with this impeachment stuff, that the worry that people won't have that relationship like you mentioned with Senator Daschle, and that people won't be able to get anything done. You guys did in 2001. If you were going to talk to McConnell and Schumer, what would you tell them right now?
Well, first of all, I'd suggest to them and to all of us in America, hey, tone the rhetoric down. What we saw last week was a horrific experience. But and you need communication between the leaders always. But it begins at the top. If Joe Biden, President-elect Joe Biden, when he becomes president, he reaches out to Mitch McConnell and also talks to Chuck Schumer and say, hey, guys, we need to do something more about the pandemic. We need to look at infrastructure for America. Biden and McConnell have a pretty good relationship. And he ought to take advantage of that because we are in a mess right now in our country, and we need our leaders to talk, develop a chemistry, and work together to get the positive things done.
Senator Breaux, let me ask you this. There's an argument to be made that Vice President Kamala Harris, she will be there and present a lot because she'll be casting ties. She obviously has ambitions to run for president. When she goes in and has to break a lot of these tie-breaking votes, it's going to make her take some interesting votes, to say the least. Do you think that that works for her or against her when it comes to her political future?
Well, Kamala Harris is going to be the vice president, and there's only one president at a time. And that's going to be President Joe Biden, who's going to indicate what his agenda is and how he wants the votes in the Senate to go. And she's going to be a partner with him, and I know they're going to work close together. But let's bear in mind there's only one president at a time. And President Joe Biden, president-elect, is a product of the Senate. He's not a socialist. He doesn't have a socialist bone in his body. But he has friends in the Senate. He grew up in the Senate politically. He knows the members on both sides of the aisle. And I think he can come in and get both sides to work together in a constructive fashion to get some things done for this country. And I think that's a big positive difference.
And by the way, Sean, just for the record, I think we only had 2 occasions when I reached out to Vice President Dick Cheney and said, hey, you need to be in your office right across from the Senate chamber. We may have a tie vote.
Yeah, but Senator,
we didn't have a tie vote.
But I think the difference goes back to what Lindsay was saying. It's that relationship. You were able to work with Senator Daschle, at least on its face right now. I don't see that relationship with Mitch McConnell. I don't think they could decide what they were going to have for lunch together. Never mind a power sharing agreement. Do you think that there's hope for it?
There's got to be hope. They're very different in personalities, but I believe that situations and problems help to create leaders. What do you? Excuse me for interrupting you, John. Go ahead.
No, I was add to it the fact that Biden and McConnell have served together in the Senate together. And have worked on deals together in the Senate when Joe Biden was a United States Senator from Delaware. They have a working relationship in the past, and I think they'll have one in the future. They can put this deal together, and maybe not as good as Trent and Tom Daschle did, but I absolutely think that President-elect Joe Biden is going to be able to work with Mitch McConnell and get some things done.
Senators, can I ask you one quick question? We don't have time. We don't have any time left, actually, but if you can, yes or no, answer me this. There's a lot of Republicans that believe that Democrats are going to try to do away with the filibuster. Is that a good idea or a bad idea? 10 seconds each. Senator Breaux, I'll start with you.
It's a bad idea, and it's not going to happen.
Okay.
There are a number of Democratic senators that are not for it.
Senator Lott?
I agree. I agree. It's not going to happen, and it shouldn't happen. And there's some other things they should do. They ought to go back to earmarks, by the way, which would help get the Senate to pull together a little bit more.
Well, you guys, thank you for enlightening us, for sharing the important history, and we're going to have to check back in to see where we go. Thank you both for joining us. Happy New Year.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
And this is your head inside this beanie hat. As you can see,